Is it true that men do not do housework and are not responsible for taking care of children?
No, I think that men are responsible. First of all, they have a job, and a lot of the time it's the wife that does the housework. And also, women are sometimes better at doing, like, being multitaskful, but as men, no, I don't know. Just restart that.
Responsible for taking care of children.
Heck no, that's not true.
Why?
Because just because we are a woman, that does not mean we deserve to do the house. They need to help us out because we're gonna die and they're gonna regret it.
No, my dad.
Not true.
Yeah, my dad does housework and takes care of us.
I have to wash the dishes.
True that men do not do housework and are not responsible for taking care of children.
I do that.
I don't believe that to be true. I think that it depends on the individual and what type of marriage the individual have and their commitment to that relationship.
Not really, because my dad was taking care of me for a long time when I was 6.
Men do not do housework and are not responsible for taking care of children.
Who are you interviewing first, Andrew?
Whoever wants to answer the question first, Dad.
I know that is not true.
Brandon?
No, it's not true.
I do housework and take care of children.
All right, good for you.
Not do housework and are not responsible for taking care of children.
No, it's not true. Men do both. They take care of the kids and they do housework. Everybody in a good marriage, everybody does everything.
Given that doing dance, for example, jazz, ballet, tap, is more of a female's hobby, if a male were to do dance, is he in tune with his feminine side?
I'm not sure about, like, being in tune with the feminine side, but I do think that some men can dance, like Dancing with the Stars, for example. There's men on that show that are really good dancers, so.
Yeah, okay.
Because I personally find it kind of attractive.
Okay.
Is he in tune with his feminine side?
No, because there are a lot of boy tap dancers.
Yes, yeah. He's gay.
Examples: jazz, ballet, tap is more of a female's hobby. If a male were to do this dance, is he in tune with his feminine side?
Yes, I would say so, but not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way. What about you, Christian?
Yes.
Yeah? Can you explain?
To do dance, is he in tune with his feminine side?
Not necessarily in today's society. I think that men are more in touch with their feminine side, but that doesn't necessarily mean that should indicate that that's their sexual preference.
Key to dance is having rhythm, and I have no rhythm, so I could never dance.
I think that everyone has a different kind of intelligence. Some people are good at math, some people are good at reading, some people are good at speaking, some people are good at drawing. And if a man is good with his body, whether it's basketball or dance, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's in touch with his feminine side. It means that he is in touch with who he is.
Whom are used to our many opportunities and freedom.
I think they take advantage of the opportunities given to them, and yes, they do tend to be more successful, or it at least looks that way, but it's on a much smaller scale. So I don't agree overall that they're more successful than Americans. I just think that there's a smaller population of them that are successful, and it looks like there's more.
Great answer, Dad. Christian, what about you? You don't know? Okay, Brandon.
I think it depends on the person's work ethic, whether they want to strive for greatness or not.
People are more likely to succeed in life due to their grateful mindset, unlike us Americans, whom are used to our many opportunities and freedom.
Yeah, I think that they could be more successful, because coming from it depends like on the country. Sometimes like in India, for example, I know somebody who's from India, and they tend to be more grateful for their success than us having the privilege.
3, go.
Yes, because we are spoiled people, and we need to learn how to not use our devices and do things on ourselves, by ourselves.
And freedoms.
This dude wants
I don't really know what that means.
Do you
to be
think
completely
people
honest.
that are from like Africa and stuff, or like India, when they come here, do you think like they do better in school because
They have less opportunities.
they have,
in their
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's just like here in America, people are used to having all this stuff and not used to working, and then people from other countries have to work hard because there's less opportunities.
Mindset, unlike us Americans, whom are used to our many opportunities and freedom.
I do agree about foreign families being more strict, more organized. Compare us American families here, we're spoiled.
Mom?
Yes, I believe that in foreign countries and in specific cultures, there is a tendency to have more self-discipline and accountability than Americans have. We tend to be, quote, spoiled, and we take a lot of things for granted, and we are handed a lot more opportunities than most people in foreign countries are even able to have.
Americans whom are used to our many opportunities and freedom.
I think there has to be a work ethic. No matter what nationality or where you're from, you have to want to work, and you have to have a work ethic. Get up in the morning and be a self-starter. That's the key in any ethnicity.
And sometimes that comes naturally to people because that's their personality. That's one of the things that I'm most proud about my kids is that my husband and I both had a really good work ethic.
For your child to be in love with?
I would prefer my child to be in love with somebody that is responsible, somebody that has senses of morals, and they are overall a good person. So.
Do you think race matters?
Race doesn't matter as long as they have those 3 things.
Japanese. They kind of just not like a drug addict, you know. Someone who makes money.
Ask if race matters.
You gonna answer?
If whoever they're in love with doesn't really matter, as long as they're not like really bad people going to jail all the time.
Does race matter?
No, it doesn't.
No, love with.
Someone who isn't afraid to do something for my child, and if it's a girl, a gentleman, of course, opening doors, respectful, and who will listen to me and won't do things behind my back.
Does race matter?
No.
I honestly don't care. Like, I honestly don't really care at all.
It could be any kind of person.
What type of person?
Yeah.
I would prefer my child to fall in love with a person that has structure and wisdom.
Knew how to speak Spanish and English.
My mother would not let me date Mexicans. She was afraid. Seriously, I'm very serious. And I used to have to lie if I went out with someone with a Mexican last name. She was afraid that if I had a girlfriend that was Mexican, that I would fall in love with her brother, and then it would be an interracial marriage. So my mother was prejudiced. She didn't know any better, but she was prejudiced.
So she ended up marrying an Italian.
Think any of the above affect the way you are spoken to / treated?
I'm a male, I'm 15, and I'm Hispanic. I think, yeah, a lot of the times...
Go!
I think a lot of the times, because I'm Hispanic, people mistreat...
/ spoken.
I am a 34-year-old female Caucasian, and no. And actually, yes, I take that back. I do feel that I probably have more favor than a 34-year-old African American female.
Female, I'm white, and I'm 14. And yeah, Caucasian. Like if I was a 24-year-old, like I'd be taught to differently than my age now.
Why do you think that?
Because I have different responsibilities, and like I'm not allowed to drink or vote, and that would be then.
What about you, Jacob?
I am 14. I am Latino, not Asian, Latino. And I do think people do talk to you differently.
You are spoken to or treated. So how old are you? What's your gender?
I'm male and I'm black. And occasionally. But it's getting better.
All right, cool.
15, male, black, and white. Yeah, why are you laughing?
11.
No, I'm not done yet. Hang on.
Oh, you're just gonna cut them off?
Not really, no. Not today.
Okay. What about you?
11, male, black, and white. No.
It doesn't affect. Nobody ever asked you some racist question, or did it?
Okay, is that an extension of? Is that another question?
Way you are spoken to or treated?
Yes, because Mexicans don't consider hitting abusement. They consider it teaching. And with white people, they consider it abusement.
And what about your age and gender?
Latina, and I'm 15.
And your gender?
Female.
The above affect the way you are spoken to / treated.
I'm black. I'm 15 and I'm a guy. And kind of does. Because everyone says nothing but black stereotypes at lunch.
I apologize.
And it's still very true. Women make less on the dollar than men. They're not offered the opportunities that men have. And so I think that I was in the middle of a generation. When I went to college, you had your choice as a woman. You could be a nurse, you could be a social worker, or you could be a teacher. And now, as a woman, that's the one thing that I tell my granddaughters. You can be anything that you want and no one can stop you. And there are a lot of women that are finally realizing that, but it's taken way, way too long for women to realize that they can be anything that they want to be, and that I don't think that there's a difference as far as that the men have a better way of thinking. They may have different ways of thinking, but that doesn't mean that it's better that they're smarter. So I think that women are not yet to the point that they have equal opportunity with men.
I believe what she said.
Of that person?
No, because just because they say something doesn't mean that they actually act like it. Unless they're their friends and it's a joke. Then, yeah.
No.
That person?
No. I do not believe that to be true.
I also don't believe
That stereotypes are truly a reflection of that person.
No.
No. I'm still not sure what you're trying to ask, though.
Like if someone says, they say Mexicans always mow lawn or like do lawn work, do you think that's true?
Yeah, like are you gonna be a lawnmower when you grow up?
Yeah, do you believe?
No.
You could just ask if you believe
No.
those stereotypes.
Whatever. Stereotyping is a very, very uneducated way to make judgments without having to look into it, meet somebody, put a name to the face so that you know who that person is and what that person is all about. And what you'll find if you do that is they're more like you than you think that they are. And it doesn't have anything to do with their skin, where they came from, what their religious beliefs are, that mankind is very similar. But stereotyping is just a way of putting people in demeaning positions.
like of a person who's being let's say someone was like, all black people eat fried chicken. Do you believe that I'm gonna grow up and like live out that stereotype? That's a reflection of me.
I think we've all had fried chicken at some point in our lives, so I don't understand.
But that's just an example of no.
No.
No, it doesn't matter.
I think it's the
And they're doing an
person's
interview and I'm messing
willingness
with
to do
them.
stuff. And it is
Why would I color it like that?
Say what?
No. Do you think a certain gender would excel in a school filled with the same gender?
Yes.
Same gender.
Who said no? Yeah. Because it's like, yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
Excel in a school filled with that gender. Let's say a female went to all female school. Do you think she would do better?
I do. Less distractions.
That's exactly what Dad said.
Possibly. I guess there are many factors that would vary those results. But in my opinion, I think there shouldn't be a huge difference in gender to reflect somebody's intelligence or capability.
Had nothing to do with it, but an all-girls school was that is between 14 and 18 is a very embarrassing age as far as gender, because it's an age where kids are really learning to be who they are with and how to interact with the opposite sex. So I didn't have that opportunity to learn that as a normal part of my everyday life. But on the opposite side, I never had to worry about what my hair looked like. I never had to worry about whether my makeup was, it stripped away all the stuff that really didn't matter, that I could go to school and I never had to.
Intellectually superior to other races.
No!
Superior to other races.
I have observed a Caucasian being intellectually superior to their peers, especially in the field that I work in today.
And I believe what I see is no. I think everybody's equal.
Superior to other races.
No, because we're all the same, and even though they think they're all that, sometimes some are cool, but some aren't. But we are all the same.
Intellectually superior to other races?
No, I do not. Negative.
Negative. Other races.
No.
No.
Not at all.
Depends how hard you learn, how hard you apply, and the opportunities you get.
What?
Minorities tend to do better in school than minorities.
Honestly, I don't know, because it doesn't really matter. It all depends on how they're taught.
School than minorities.
They feel safer, maybe. People like to segregate other people. Like, maybe it's more stress for them.
School than minorities.
Because they're non-minorities. I don't know.
Minorities do better in school.
Yes.
That's not necessarily true. That kind of conflicts with your original question that you asked me at the beginning. But overall, I think non-minorities have a higher favor, and maybe professors can relate and have a little bit more leniency, and that helps them progress and ultimately make them a little bit more successful than minorities. Minorities are not a priority or carry a great sense of value in many colleges and workforces.
I believe that non-minorities have more favor, indeed, and minorities, they have to work twice as hard to be noticeable.
really, really cheap earrings, but they were really pretty. And I had on a nice outfit, but it was not expensive. And the lady thought that I was real rich. And she based it on cheap earrings and cheap clothes, but put together okay. So yeah, we have been assumed that we're something that you're not. You can't find out what somebody is until you spend some time with them.
I never thought about it. I don't think so.
I made an assumption about you because of a stereotype.
Yes.
Probably. I'm sure you got thrown to Starbucks.
Stereotype. Yes, they have told me that I am lazy because I am Mexican. And that just because I'm Latina and I wear makeup, they assume I'm a chola, and I'm not.
Yes. A lot.
An assumption about you because of a stereotype.
Yes. That has happened to me several times because I have many children. People have categorized me as low poverty, below poverty, and have assumed that I have been on cash aid, welfare, any type of government aid, which in actuality I have never collected or received any form of that. But because I have several children, I'm often categorized in that.
I have been also categorized as being a person with not speaking English. Automatically they start speaking to me in Spanish, so I also been categorized that way.
Towards them, how do you think they should react?
Offended because people should keep their mouth shut and keep them to themselves because people can get hurt.
And it's all learned from your parents. And so it's depending how they feel.
Wasn't this question of this? Hit them. Like I said.
Like, should they be offended or should they take it seriously or something?
Oh. Yeah. Be offended. Hit them.
I think they should simply state the facts and not take it personal and let their actions reflect the facts.
They should react not to get so offended.
Because the media focuses in on stereotypes. They never take that's a touchy subject, but like the whole police brutality that's going on, that police brutality, and we can use the police officers, and usually it's targeted towards African American men. It's a stereotype they're perpetuating. You don't know the whole story on either side of it. You just know the assumptions made by the media, and that's all that's displayed to us. Therefore, they keep perpetuating the same stereotypes, yes.
Stereotypes to spread around the world?
Absolutely, yes.
I believe that is true, yes.
Stereotypes to spread around the world.
Yeah. There's like hella vines with stereotypes in them. And things like that.
Yes, because ever since people had internet, phones, and all that crap, they've been spreading rumors, and that caused bullying, which caused...
And you put a different nationality in there, it wouldn't be a hot topic. You know, like a white cop, black kid. Make it a black cop and a white kid, a black cop and a black kid. That takes away the steam. But because it's a white cop and a black kid, it automatically lights a fire. So the media goes over and over and over and over, so you don't stop hearing about it. So rather than people forming their own opinion, they just take what they're hearing instead of going and doing honest research and or being patient enough to wait out and find out what really happened instead of just jumping on the bandwagon of what some pundit on TV has told you.
Confront them or let it be.
Take it as a joke because most of the time it won't be like try to be as serious but meant to be a joke.
Yeah, it's usually a joke. Laugh.
That's what I would do.
Do confront them or let it be?
Let it be. How do they call you out? Just let it be or confront them.
Would you call them on it, like, hey, why'd you say this and that, or would you just let's just go about your day?
It depends on what it was. But if it was like something like really offensive, or if it's just like everyday stereotype, like, oh, black people eat fried chicken, like something like that. But if there was something
Why do
really
we keep bringing
offensive,
that
then I'll
up?
probably confront them on it.
All right, Christian.
Stereotype. What do you do? Confront them or let it be?
I confront because
Let it be.
Let it.
Confront them or let it be?
Hit them.
With the bat.
Yeah, hit them with a backhand.
I used to turn my head and walk away. Now I'm old and I don't care what people think of me. And my neighbor made a comment about our Mexican workers. And I told him, my daughter-in-law is Mexican and my babies are Mexican. That's a shame you feel that way. And I try not to embarrass them, but I let it be.
Alcohol aisle. Who do you think would buy more alcohol?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think it makes a difference.
Whoever's more stressed.
And a white male by the alcohol aisle. Who do you think will buy more alcohol?
it all depends on them, because there are African Americans who have good personalities and know what they're doing, while there's other white people who are bad. So it all depends on them.
Who do you think will buy more alcohol?
I think a white guy would buy more alcohol than a black male.
What I'm not really understanding how that's relevant. That could say, what's the difference between a male or a female who would buy more alcohol? It just depends on the individual and where that person is currently at in their life. I don't think that the color of their skin references how much alcohol they drink.
Buy the most alcohol.
Again,
whoever's got more money in their pocket. It doesn't. It doesn't. That would not enter my mind. I would not think that there's a relationship with that.
And a white male as check counters, which one would you choose and why?
Doesn't really matter, but if I had to choose, I'll choose African American, because not really white people like me very much. I don't know why, but yeah.
White man as check counters. Which one would you choose and why?
The shorter line, because I probably got something else to do, or just don't want to be in a bank.
Check counters, which would you choose and why?
I'd go to the individual who looked the most intelligent and most efficient.
I don't look at that. I just go whoever.
Check counters. Which one would you choose and why?
I would choose the one with the shortest line because I don't want to wait a long time.
Good answer.